Why athletes get naked. Not really sure where this video is headed, but we here and we gonna see. Let's get it.
Full-time WNBA All-Star, one of the greatest players of her generation. Career earnings, $900,000. Earnings on OnlyFans, $1.5 million.
Damn. Career earnings. That's probably what she made in like a year or a couple months. Me personally, I ain't interested in seeing a bunch of these 6'6" women walking around here naked, but hey man, teach his own. To each his own, brother. I ain't mad at y'all. Man, get you y'all tall tree. I don't want no, I'm good.
In her first week, that's right.
She made a 1.5 in a week. Damn. Shit. I ain't mad at that. I'm not mad at that, man.
Made more on OnlyFans in 7 days than in her entire basketball career. She's not.
That is crazy. You made more in 7 days than your entire career in the WNBA. That's not saying much because the WNBA don't pay nothing in comparison to other professional sports, or at least in comparison to male sports, professional sports. So, yeah.
Not the only one. From track and field to bobsled.
Bro, ain't no way. No, bro. I know Alicia Newman ain't making them pulling in that yike. Good God.
More and more pro athletes are joining OnlyFans to make a living. Even Douglas Costa and Nick Kyrgios. Now you might think the obvious. These athletes are selling their bodies for money, and the guys at Athletic Interest made a video about it to have fun with the research. But it's more complicated than that. We're not just talking about lower-ranked athletes, but Olympic champions, Wimbledon finalists, and Champions League footballers. Why would any of those athletes join a platform that is popular for pornography? How much money are they making? And what does this say about the current sports and creator economy? As it turns out, there is a much bigger picture. Welcome to Athletic Interest and the OnlyFans business of athletes.
The OnlyFans business of athletes. That's catchy. That's catchy.
OnlyFans has managed to do something that most companies fail. They took something people were used to getting for free and convinced them to pay for it. The numbers speak for themselves. Over 350 million users, nearly 8 billion in revenue in 2024, and a large chunk of that went straight to creators. For comparison, that's $1 billion more than the combined salaries of every NBA player. Sure, there are way more creators on OnlyFans than players in the NBA, but it's also a lot easier to start an OnlyFans than to land an NBA contract.
You ain't lying. You got to be a top 400 player in the world, top 500 to get the NBA. You ain't even got to be a 7 to be a OnlyFans model. You can be a 3. If you can show that thing the right way, people will pay for it.
This is no career advice, by the way. The point is, the top earners make a lot of money. Like Sophie Rain, who shared a screenshot of her yearly earnings. Minus the fee, she makes roughly $3 million per month. But that's still ridiculous to what this guy makes. Sorry for all the numbers, but we're getting somewhere, promise. OnlyFans has just 42 employees. That works out to over $31 million in revenue per employee. That's more than Google, Apple, Meta, you name it. And since the company is completely bootstrapped with no outside investors, he took home nearly $500 million in dividends last year. So naturally, other social media platforms started to think, let's do subscriptions too. Elon Musk even changed the policy to allow porn on his platform. But subscriptions are only part of the OnlyFans business model. Despite looking like other social media platforms, OnlyFans runs on a completely different business model. First, you won't find them on any app store. Apple's terms don't allow platforms with sexually explicit content, so OnlyFans operates entirely outside the app ecosystem. Most social media companies make their money from advertisers. But OnlyFans makes all of their money directly from their creators. And those creators get paid directly by their fans. OnlyFans takes a 20% cut, and the rest goes to the creator.
See, that's where the difference is right there. Like, as a creator, you get to keep 80%. I know some people say, why I can't keep all of it? I mean, one, you got to pay the people that made the website, the company. And two, if you cross-reference this to YouTube, I know YouTube taking like 45, 50% of everything. Twitch taking like 45, 50% of everything. Everywhere else, you're not getting nearly a cut like this. especially for a platform as huge as OnlyFans and as free as OnlyFans and as open as OnlyFans is. You can do whatever you want. You can do the sex work there. You can actually use it for like your OnlyFans, not like porn and stuff like that. So yeah, this is the reason they're booming, because creators get to keep whatever they making, they get to keep it. That's crazy. 80-20, and they still made 500 million. OnlyFans, that's crazy.
More generous and more transparent than most other platforms. YouTube, for example, shares around 45%, and only with selected channels. Don't worry, we're not switching anytime soon. Now, OnlyFans didn't invent revenue sharing, and they have way fewer users than YouTube or Facebook. But there's one key difference. Because they are not on the App Store, they don't have to give Apple or Google a 15 to 30% cut of every transaction. And that's the only reason they can sustain the 80-20 split. If Apple was already taking 30%, there's no way OnlyFans could afford to pay creators 80%. So, almost by accident, they landed a competitive advantage. Better payouts and more control over the platform. And it gets better. Creators use other platforms to go viral and then link to their OnlyFans profiles. So OnlyFans doesn't need to spend big on advertising. They've basically outsourced user acquisition to their creators. Put all that together and you get one of the most unique business models in the creator economy. But here's the question. Athletes make a ton of money anyway. Why join a platform popular for porn when you already get crazy salaries, prize money and sponsorships? Or do they? Unless you're a global superstar like LeBron, Messi or Simone Biles, the truth is most professional athletes earn surprisingly little. Let's take a look.
Simone Biles make a lot of money. I didn't think they made that much money with the gymnastics. If they, y'all let me know in the comments how much she making, because if she is, I got some ideas.
Olympic athletes as an example. The average track and field athlete makes around $15,000 per year from their sport.
Oh, no.
That's less than a McDonald's worker in France who earns about $22,000 on minimum wage. And it gets worse. The International Olympic Committee, which earns over $7 billion per Olympic cycle, pays absolutely nothing to the athletes directly, even if they win gold. That's because the Olympic system was built on the idea that athletes should remain amateurs, competing for honor, not money. A rule originally designed to keep working-class athletes out of elite sport, and one that still affects how money flows in the industry today. We've actually made a full video about this. We'll link it in the description if you want to dive deeper. So how do Olympians survive? They rely on a fragile mix of three things. Salaries, if they are lucky. Prize money, which varies wildly, and sponsorships, which mostly go to the big names in football and basketball. Take the 2012 London Olympics. Usain Bolt made over $20 million that year with a $9 million Puma deal. But Megan Kalmer, an Olympic bronze medalist in rowing, she made $10,000 for her medal before taxes.
That's crazy.
And had to grow her own vegetables to make ends meet. And it's not just Olympians. A study found that 80% of professional athletes in the US don't consider themselves financially stable. Travel, gear, training, nutrition, it all adds up. Sponsorship money is drying up, especially if you're not constantly on TV. Which brings us back to OnlyFans. Because if you're a world-class athlete with a loyal fan base, but you're earning less than a delivery driver, why wouldn't you turn to a platform that lets you monetize your following directly? Speaking of building and monetizing a following, if you're a creator, athlete, or business trying to grow online, you need to understand what drives traffic to your site. That's where today's video sponsor Ahrefs comes in, with their free Ahrefs webmaster tools. It shows you about keywords. Oh, and it's really have to wait 2 days. Web analytics is lightweight. Or case, who produce the content. On the other, the platforms that distribute it. The question is always the same. Who gets how much of the money? Social media platforms make billions by monetizing the attention athletes generate. Think of Douglas Costa. Millions of fans, millions of clicks. But most of the value he creates goes to the platforms. Facebook, Instagram and TikTok are great for exposure. They help creators land brand deals, affiliate links and sponsorships. But when it comes to paying creators directly, almost nothing. YouTube is an exception. It shares ad revenue, mostly respects creators, and rewards consistency. But even on YouTube, it's a grind to make a living. Talking from experience here.
Yeah,
OnlyFans wants to flip the
lying.
model, allowing creators to monetize their audience directly. It's part of a larger shift in the maturing creator economy. Creators getting a bigger slice of the value they generate. And for the most part, that's a good thing. More control, more transparency, more revenue for creators. But there's a catch. OnlyFans still comes with baggage. Yes, they market the idea of behind-the-scenes access, training footage, recovery routines, Q&As. But let's be real. Most content on the platform isn't meal plans and workout tips.
Nope.
Unless you're willing to show skin, the odds of making serious money are slim. And for athletes, that comes with a risk.
Well, unless you're willing to show skin or willing to elude that you're willing to show skin, because there's a lot of people on there just promising and never delivering. You know what I'm saying? You pay for something and it's not what you paid for. It's not what she told you about to pay for, boy. She told you you're going to get one thing and she sent you another one, but she still got that money at the end of the day because at the end of the day, you got a video file, you got a photo file, you got something. So they're going to get that money anyway.
Aligning with a platform still associated with adult content could harm sponsorship opportunities.
Yeah.
It could turn off brands and eventually backfire. Some critics also argue that it normalizes explicit content, or worse, pushes financially struggling athletes toward choices they wouldn't otherwise make. It becomes an ethical question. Is OnlyFans empowering athletes to monetize their attention, or nudging the vulnerable to sell their bodies? There's something to win and something to lose for athletes joining OnlyFans. But the biggest winner in all of this, OnlyFans itself.
Yep.
Because there is a catch to why so many pro athletes are joining the platform. Many of them get paid by OnlyFans to do so. They are not only doing it to get the 80% cut, but they get good old sponsorship money from the company. Why? Because OnlyFans wants to go mainstream, and their way in is sports. They even have a whole sports blog on their website, where they report about OnlyFans-sponsored athletes and teams. The strategy is social proofing. Athletes and fans will be more likely to sign up in the future as they see others doing the same. Adult content is still their core business, but if they want to grow, they need to diversify. And sports is one of the most trusted, emotionally driven content genres out there. It also fits the broader trend. Athletes building direct relationship with fans without relying.
Plus, I think that primarily, when OnlyFans initially started, I believe it was in order to athletes and celebrities with fans, and then it turned into something completely different. And so, yeah, man, I thought about OnlyFans at one point, not like for the sexual stuff, but like, you know, I thought it's a good platform to build an audience. I just don't want to be associated with the spreading that's going on over there, and yeah, your boy ain't trying to be involved in all this. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments below. Whoo, this was a doozy.